What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we beat Aston Villa 4-0 at Villa Park to send us 3 points clear into the top four after Arsenal's disastrous defeat at the Emirates to Brighton, which really brightened all of our days up yesterday. And let's start off with Hugo Lloris on the player ratings, and he gets a big fat 10 from the both of us. Absolutely sensational display in that first half. 7 saves, which is a record as well. I'm not sure, is it a Premier League record or a Tottenham record?
Tottenham record,
It's a Tottenham record, that was it. Most saves in the first half from any goalkeeper for Tottenham, and some great saves at that. There was one from the free kick, which was an unbelievable save. There was one from Jacob Ramsey, which was an unbelievable save. The other ones, some of them were routine, some of them really good saves. So all in all, he kept us in that game in that first half where we survived the Villa onslaught, and he was the one that really kept us in the game. Captain's performance yesterday.
Yeah, and the other saves you could say are routine, but he still has to be in the right position. I think positioning's always been a very good asset of Lloris's, and we saw that with a lot of his saves yesterday. I think we have him to thank massively for that first half because we were under the cosh. It was banding down the hatches yesterday, and if it wasn't for Lloris, we would have easily conceded at least 3 or 4 goals. And yeah, he was a kind of a one-man wall at that point. They found it so easy to get into our defence and get shots on goal, and you've got to give him massive credit. And I think it must be the first 10 we've ever given a keeper, no?
Definitely, yeah. And as well, like with Hugo Lloris, what have we been saying recently? He's hardly been worked.
Well, he had enough work for like 3 games in this one in one half.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he didn't have much to do in the second half.
Yeah.
But first half, he got the job done massively. I don't know how he was able to repel Villa almost on it by himself, but thankfully he did, and the big reason why we went on to win the game so convincingly.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Ben Davies on the left of a back three as per usual. 7s all round from us. I felt like he mopped up pretty much everything that came his way defensively. Another good display from Ben Davies, but yeah, nothing really too much to note.
I felt first half a bit like the rest of the team, but him more so was really struggling when pressured and trying to play out the back. He really struggled to find a teammate. He wasn't really the one going long like Romero was in the second half, so I don't think he was doing that during the game. But I think Davies, by and large, had a fairly decent game. It was a quiet one for him, especially after half time. Didn't have too much to do after that. But I felt he's not just him, but he was struggling with Ings and Watkins to contain them.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Cristian Romero. 8s all round from us. I thought it was the strongest defender on the day. In the first half, when we were under the cosh, he did put in some really good aggressive tackles that won us the ball back. His passing was found a little bit wanting in that first half, where we struggled to play out the back. But second half, under instruction, it must have been from Conte, he was putting in some lovely dinks over the top to beat Aston Villa's press, and one of them resulting in a goal, which found Kane's head, and he lovely played Sonny through with that header. But second half, he was a major reason why we were able to beat that press, and yeah, really good display.
Yeah, and I think he'll be disappointed with the Ramsey chance, because Ramsey went in between him and Emerson and found that little bit of space and nearly scored from it. And I think Romero maybe learned from that because he didn't allow that to happen again during the game. And yeah, you say brilliant pass in towards Kane for the third goal, I believe that was, with a brilliant header from Kane. But Romero definitely under instruction from Conte to go a bit more direct. And yeah, I think second half he stood up again, and I thought a really strong performance again.
Let's move over to Eric Dier. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. I felt like in the first half there were a few shaky moments in there from Eric Dier, as there were for a lot of Spurs players actually, because just Villa were that strong and pressing us that well. I thought Dier did come under a bit of pressure. I felt that he did stand up well to it though for the most part, and did have a good game. He was that calming presence at the back, even though it wasn't that calm at the back. And I felt second half as well, he played well in terms of playing it out the back and distributing the ball really well. So he grew as the game wore on, I felt.
Yeah, I think he actually in the second half you could see him really starting to take that leadership role and moving players around and shouting, barking instructions and making sure people were doing their jobs. And first half maybe that wasn't the case as much, but he definitely stepped up in the second half, and that was a big reason why we made sure we didn't concede any goals. But yeah, he'll be disappointed with the lack of control we had in our back line in the first half, and he'll look to change it. But I think he led the line really well. By and large.
Let's move on to Emerson Royal. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I felt like in the first half there were a lot of sloppy moments in there from him. Overhit passes, misplaced passes. But I did feel like as the game wore on, especially in that second half, he had a lot of space down that right-hand side. He saw a lot of the ball. And also I felt like his movement really did open up a lot of space for Dejan Kulusevski as well in that second half. So that was the good part. But I just felt like in the first half, there were a lot of sloppy moments in there from him.
Yeah, he was. There was that moment in the first half where Son was inches away from playing him for on goal, wasn't he? Just 1 inch to the right, and the defender was able to get it, but Emerson was very nearly in on goal in that moment. But other than that, Emerson struggled first half like a lot of the other defenders. I don't think it was just down to him. I think everyone really struggled with the aggression of Aston Villa, and I think he maybe as much as a culprit as anyone, and he definitely did struggle. But second half, as Tottenham grew in the game and he grew in confidence, he was starting to get good spaces in the final third. He was defensively fairly solid all game anyway, and I thought it was a positive display for me from Emerson.
Let's move on to Rodrigo Bentancur, 7s all round from us. In the first half, he was forced to play very deep, wasn't he? With Villa pressing us really high up the pitch. And I think he stood up well to the pressure for the most part. Again, very cool, calm, composed on the ball. Alleviated us with his passing display, especially in that second half, as we really took the sword to Aston Villa. But yeah, look, I don't think it was as strong as his maybe his last couple of performances, but still a really good display from Bentancur.
I think, yeah, second half he started to find his passing range, which he didn't quite get in the first half. First half, he had a few good moments when in the few moments we were able to attack. He was actually quite good at pressing Villa and picking up the clearances when Villa were able to stop us. But he was definitely overrunning that midfield, and he struggled badly in the midfield to control Coutinho and Ramsey and McGinn, who were definitely outnumbering us. And I think he definitely wasn't able to show that confidence on the ball he usually does in the first half. The second half, he grew into it and he was spraying some really good passes around, and definitely a good display in the end.
Yeah, because like in the first half, he just had no space and time on the ball. Second half, he did. And that showed. Let's move on to Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, his partner in the middle. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. And I actually thought it was a really good display again from Hojbjerg yesterday. First half, it was very difficult for him, but he was running around like a headless chicken, putting him challenges left, right and centre, trying to put out the fires that Villa were throwing on us. In the second half, I felt, again, a really strong display. He grew in influence in that second half as well, as we really battered Villa in that second half. But I thought it was an all-action display from Hojbjerg yesterday. I really did.
He was certainly in the wars, that's for sure. He was subject to a few strong challenges. He was even remonstrating to the ref, saying that he should have been harsher in some of the challenges that were put on him. But I think second half, again, a bit similar to Bentancur, once we were able to gain control of the game, he started to show confidence and started to dominate, and was a big factor of why we were able to control the game in the second half. The first half, he struggled. He definitely struggled to contain Villa and putting out the fires, and we were lucky we weren't losing, but second half we got our act together, and he was a big part of that.
Let's move on to Matt Doherty. 6 all round from us. I mean, not much to say. He went off after 20 minutes with the injury. Obviously, he tried to stay on 3 times, actually. He went down and ended up staying on, but then eventually went off after the 3rd time. In the time that he was on, we were pretty much under the cosh for the majority of the time he was on the pitch, apart from the first few minutes when we got that goal. Not too much to note from Matt Doherty yesterday.
Yeah, I was slightly surprised he kept with him at left wing back. I didn't think it was necessary, but we got our wish after 20 minutes anyway with him going off. Not him being injured, but we're getting a left wing back at left wing back and a right wing back at right wing back. Sadly, it was Doherty being injured, but hopefully it's not too serious, as you say, because he's been a very good player for us recently, and he's been much better than Emerson, so we definitely need him back in the team as soon as possible. But So, but what can we do? That's what happens when the Villa players are putting in the challenges they are. That was what the risk is, that they could have an injury like that, and they got away with it. But hopefully he's back soon.
Let's move on to Heung-min Son, and he gets a big fat 10 from both of us as well. I'm not sure we've ever given 2 10s, both of us, in agreement in the same week before.
In the same week?
In the same game?
Team? I think maybe when we played Southampton.
Oh, when Sonny and Kane
I think we both gave them,
yeah, fair enough. But I thought Sonny was absolutely dynamite yesterday. First goal, absolute dynamite snapshot off the inside of the post. Second goal, he goes through on goal. Lovely anticipation with the run from Harry Kane's header. You knew where he was going to put it. You knew that was going in the back of the net. Third goal, again, the pass from Kulusevski finds him in the edge of the box, and another dynamite finish in off the post. And I thought he was just a thorn in Aston Villa's side for pretty much the majority of that second half. He was always a willing runner. He was always there with the energy, and his smile literally lit up the whole of Villa Park yesterday. Hat-trick hero, 3 behind Mo Salah now in the Golden Boot runnings. So absolutely sensational display from Heung-min Son yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely clinical. 3 shots, 3 goals, and that's all. That's what Son's about sometimes when he's in this kind of mood. He doesn't need second invitation, does he?
Yeah.
And especially when he's running for on goal like he did for that third goal, you just know it's going to end in the back of the net, no doubt about it. And 2 really clinical finishes, the left foot, 1 with his right foot, 2 of them in off the post. He's our biggest threat in behind, and we've known that for a long time. And he's displayed that, showcased his ability yesterday. He's so ambidextrous. He's now 3 goals behind Salah in the race for the Golden Boot. He's having a marvellous season, and he's silencing anyone who doubted him.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Dejan Kulusevski. Sim gives him a 9. I gave him an 8. Again, really strong display from Deki yesterday. Got himself a goal and an assist. Obviously, the goal to put us in the lead pretty much killed the game. And the way he took it on, Harry Kane plays it out to him on the left-hand side. And he did it all on his own. Lovely finish into the bottom corner. The assist was absolutely unbelievable as well, how he gets it in the corner, takes on his man, Tyrone Mings, and puts in a lovely ball to Heung-min Son, and Sonny did the rest. But apart from that, I thought he was always an option on that right-hand side. I love it when he's one-on-one with the defender as well, because they don't know which way he's going to go. He's very, very unpredictable, Kulusevski, and that's what we really love about him. And he's just influencing games, and the way he's got a partnership now with Kane, with Son, with pretty much everyone around him, which makes our front three absolutely dynamite. And I'm loving every second of Kulu at the moment.
And that's 9 goal contributions, isn't it? Since he got his first start against City, he just keeps rolling on with the goals and assists. You can't stop him in the moment. And again, 2 really good, high quality moments he brought to us yesterday. The goal, I thought he has so much work to do once he receives the ball from Kane. He beats Matt Cash. He squares up Mings, just a shift to the left and bang, far corner. And that's what we've been waiting for. I mean, obviously he has scored a couple goals, but I feel like with his left foot, he should be getting a lot more shots on goal and things like that.
Dynamite finish, wasn't it?
And wow, clinical, right into the side netting, right into the corner. Martinez, no chance. And it just shows the quality of his left foot when he's doing that. He's obviously displayed his creativity before, but he needs to show more when it comes to being deadly from his from shooting areas. And obviously the assist, great work down the right hand side, link up with Son and Emerson. Son freed him down the right hand side. He sat Wings down for dinner. Unbelievable piece of skill, and pulls it back on a plate for Son. And I feel like a lot with Kulusevski, he's hanging around those kind of areas where Son is, and he doesn't get picked out enough. And maybe that was like a message like, this is what you got to do, just hang it back to that area, because I've seen him so many times be in that area, and the player goes either across the face of goal or goes for a shot or something, and Kulu's like, come on, just lay it on a plate for me, and Kulu's showing him how it's done. A great assist, and more goal contributions for him. Brilliant. I did think he was a bit anonymous in the first half, to be fair. The second half he came up strong.
Yeah, all our attacking players were pretty anonymous in the first half. But let's move on to Harry Kane, the last of the starting 11 nines all round from us. And yeah, another unplayable display from Harry Kane at times yesterday. 3 assists. Obviously, the first one came in the first few minutes of the game. It wasn't really an assist. He took a snapshot and it rebounded and fell to Son. So he gets
FPL assist.
Yeah, he gets an FPL assist for that. But the other 2 were absolutely brilliant. The way he fed through Kulusevski. I know Kulusevski had a lot of work to do from there, but he found the pass. But the real assist came from that header that fed in Heung-min Son. It was so effortlessly. Romero plays it over the top to Harry Kane, and he just takes one look and boom, bang, and Heung-min Son's through on goal. And it's just everything goes through Harry Kane. He's like the hub of the whole team. And when he's playing well, or just when he's playing, he's got the ability to finish. He's got the ability to find players. I know he hasn't scored. We've scored 10 goals or something, or 11 goals or 12 goals the last 3 games, and he hasn't got 1 goal, which is unbelievable to think.
He's got how many assists? 7 assists.
He's playing unbelievably well at the moment, and you just can't knock him. And they said on Match of the Day last night that he's playing the best football of his career, and I completely agree. Yeah,
and as you say, that header is so much precision. And so calculated, but it was an absolutely phenomenal assist. The way he flicked it on, it seems simple, and you maybe even think like if you might even think it's lucky if you're just
it's anything but.
Yeah, exactly. If you're just taking it on face value, you might think, oh, he's just flicked it on and it's gone through Son. But you see how calculated it was. He takes a look at Son, he plays it right into his path, and it's a brilliant assist. Obviously, he gets assist for Kulusevski's goal as well. Not as impressive, but still really good header into the path of Kulusevski. And now it's like you can either press him high and he can turn you can play a long through ball. You can not leave off him. He can take a shot. Or you can try and aerially challenge him and he'll win the header. It's like you can't stop him. How do you stop him when he's in this kind of form? Incredible. And obviously in general play as well, he was also pretty solid, as he always is. And he'll just be disappointed that he didn't get a goal again. He'll probably be disappointed with that. But as if Tottenham and him are going to keep performing like this, I don't think he'll care as much as long as we're in the Champions League.
Yeah, the thing is, to get a lot of anxiety when he was holding his ankles.
Oh yeah,
from
that's
that rough
disgusting
challenge.
from Young. That challenge,
really bad challenge.
Horrible.
And I was just thinking, get him off now, get him off. But he did stay on the pitch, and it is what it is. Hopefully he's okay. Let's move on to the only sub that we're going to rate is Sergio Reguil3n. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I felt that he stretched Aston Villa really well in that second half. But again, I felt that his end product was found wanting for the most part. He did have that deflected shot, didn't he? That went... When did the keeper save it? I can't remember what happened, but I just remember
keeper
that
saved it.
shot that the keeper saved.
That was first half.
But apart from that, I thought he needs to be doing more in the final third.
Yeah, he didn't quite get forward as much as I'd like, but I still think he was fairly solid. I think it took him a while to get into the game, and he was giving the ball away quite a bit when he first came on. Yeah, he did have that shot, which nearly went in the first half, but second half, he was a bit of a threat when he did go forward. Just didn't go forward as much as I'd like. But look, we were 3-4-0 up by the time by the 70th minute or so. So it's hard to judge too harshly on that front if that's the criteria. But yeah, I mean, he'll have better games, but I didn't think he was a liability or anything when he came on.
Yeah, agreed. Let's move on to Antonio Conte. 8s all round from us, and with Arsenal and Manchester United both losing earlier on that day, it was so important for us to start this game well and to show that we mean business, and to not bring in that kind of Spursy attitude of when teams around us drop points, we also drop points. I think as soon as we came out the blocks from that kickoff, it looked like we meant business, and we scored straight away, which was massive for us. But then we kind of reverted into our shells, and Villa really stuck it on us, and Villa really penned us in and suffocated us. And credit to Conte, he saw that like everyone else did, and he tweaked things at half-time, and those tweaks at half-time ultimately won us the game. He showed that Romero and Dier got to ping it over the midfield to really beat that press, and that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly how we got our next few goals that really sealed the game for us. So credit to Conte for tweaking the tactics at half-time and winning us the game.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the problems and he solved them. At half-time, he got into the plays. He's like, this is what we've got to do. Stop playing out from the back as often as you are at the moment. Wait for Villa to lose some of their momentum and some of their aggression. Go direct for a bit and see how much joy you can get. And we will get, and all of a sudden, our first 3 goals, even in the first one, all came from long balls, didn't they? Because the first one, it dropped down to Kane from a long ball, didn't it? And obviously the goals came from that. We tried so hard to play out from the back from then on, but was not getting any joy whatsoever from that. And that's one thing he's got to think about when if teams come with that kind of formation with, it was very central, 3 centre mids, 2 attacking mids, 2 strikers. We have to be wary when teams do that and try and press us really aggressively out of it, because we didn't have an answer to it in that scenario. However, we did change up in the second half, and we were ultimately winning 4-0. I did think the result flattered us quite a bit, to be honest. I don't think it was a 4-0 game. But you got to give Conte credit for solving issues that were posed to us in the first half. He's just got to make sure that those first halves, to the extent they did yesterday, don't happen again or often.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lloris bailed us out.
Yeah, he did. All right, so that is our player ratings from the 4-0 win against Aston Villa yesterday. And also, a credit to Conte, because it shows the sign of a good team and how far he's taken us, actually, where we don't actually play that well, and we were under the cosh massively in that first half, and we come away with a 4-0 win away at an Aston Villa side who probably performed their best that they have all season.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's that gives him massive credit, and last season we're not winning that game, are we? But this season shows the difference Conte's made.
Earlier in the season we're not winning that game.
And yeah, look, he did change up. He solved the problem with his own tactics. It wasn't just anything else. So, got to give him massive credit.
Yeah. All right. Let's go that again. That was our player ratings. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.